Howdy, howdy, fellas. Got a World of Warships Legends match today in the Vampire 2. Start off by looking at my stats and lamenting the 175,000 damage match that I lost earlier today. But we, brush ourselves off, load up again. Oh, let me cut this down. There we go, we're in the match. Alright, yeah, so I've just been playing a bunch of this zombie build. It has been, I don't know. I don't know if it's just showing up more, if people are becoming more aware of it, because of Christmas drops in the Huron, more people is Haida available? I think so in some version of something that's available. Um, or if just, like as awareness of it grows and more people are playing it, more people are running into it. I just see discussion of it cropping up a lot. Um, I've been playing it a lot. It is certainly not an invincible build. I mean, it makes you very tanky. It doesn't make you invincible. Um, I tend to find that the tier 7 destroyers, partially because their health is very nearly the same as the Vampire 2, two tiers up, that they feel even more powerful in it. But none of the ships that have it available are like perfect, without flaw. The two tier 7s don't have amazing torpedoes. The Haida can struggle in heavy matches. Like there's a lot of capital ships and you don't have team damage to take care of them, which, since you're on blue team, will certainly happen more often than you might prefer. Like it can struggle. Huron can absolutely get caught out without smoke. I had that happen to me a couple of times this morning where it's like, oh, I'm like just in that position, pinched in between stuff, and it's like, yeah, I can't take on a Charles Martel, a Marceau, and a Schroeder at the same time without smoke. Like, oh, you got me. Like, that's what it takes. But, no ship in the game can take 3 ships on, really. You know, assuming some competence. Like, yeah, sure, if you just have them sit there flat broadside, you'll win. But with some amount of play and some competence, no ship's going to take 3, but a zombie build destroyer can definitely take 1, and a lot of times it can take 2. And again, depending on the cadence of the damage done, it can do 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1. I don't know if I said 9, but that's what I meant to do, and yeah, that's the point. It's like, it just keeps going. And I love it, because I love being able to just keep going and fight the enemy team, regardless of what my team is doing, as long as they don't completely fall apart, which is what happened in the one that I lost this morning. Like, I can really force the match, and I can be super aggressive. I don't have to really mind my my health. And one of the things that struck me is that the tenor of the Reddit debates, we'll call them debates, be a good sport about it. No, I'm just messing. The Reddit debates about the zombie build actually remind me of the carrier debates that often crop up. And it struck me that I actually think there is a bit of a similarity in the issues with the zombie build as with carriers. It's like, whoa, I'm sure I've raised hackles all over everyone on every side forever for that comparison, but bear with me, and just, again, if you've watched any of my videos, hold it a little bit lightly. I'm not the kind of guy where it's like, it's this way and I'm super mad about it. Like, I think about this stuff, I think it's interesting, but I don't tend to, and I really intentionally also try not to be, super wound up about this stuff. It's like, it is a game, I take it seriously, but come on. So anyway, the zombie build versus the carriers. There's, a fundamental discrepancy and disconnect between how carriers and surface ships work and how the zombie build works versus all of the destroyers. And it has to do with this, you really have to... Some of it has to do with, the perceived infiniteness of the build. That, carriers seem to have an infinite number of planes. These destroyers feel like they have an infinite amount of health, infinite amount of regeneration. And while that's not technically correct, it's rate limited, and then of course it's limited by the duration of the match and stuff like that. And there are all drawbacks. I think there is a similarity there that has like a fundamental quote unquote unfairness feel to it. That, and again, this is another example of a match like in almost any other destroyer. I would have never done that. Like, I saw the Wisconsin over here. I see there's a Friedrich de Grosse behind me that's like, I don't think that's making a great play. But I'm like, I know I can go over there and tank a salvo from the Wisconsin, probably two, and be just fine even for the rest of the match. Like, A, I'll survive it, and B, it doesn't really impact my ability to contribute to the rest of the match. And it's like, that ability to win a flank, hard win a flank. Oh yeah, and then the Colbert conveniently shows back up over here. Like, I knew that, right? I knew he was over here. But also, like, our team's kind of in spotting range. I saw earlier he didn't have amazing spotting, detection, whatever, concealment. He spotted him at above 6 kilometers. So I'm kind of looking at where our team is positioned. I'm like, is he still over there? Like, I don't know that me chasing down a Colbert is the best use of my time. Anyway, sorry, I digress. This like ability to take I'll call it like a disadvantage trait. A carrier can throw a squadron in. If they lose it, it's like, oh, like I'm temporarily disadvantaged a little bit. Like maybe I don't have on my ship planes, or I have to be a little more careful later. But that ability to regenerate within the match, somewhat without limit. Again, acknowledging the rate limit, but there's no like hard limit. There's no you ran out of repair parties or anything like that. I see a similarity there, and I feel a similarity in the complaints and defense of the two. And it's like, again, like not to intentionally ruffle any feathers, but said in somewhat in jest, but lightly. But also, I think there's some truth here. Like, I think everybody's wrong. I think people that think that this build is like, oh, it's just overpowered and it's crazy and it needs to be gutted and it's insane. Like, well, I can see it getting toned a little bit, but like, let's not go all in on it. Again, and maybe to back that up a little bit, I have played this build with a 14-3 Waller, and that felt like okay. Playing it with a 16-4 Waller and a max. I think I did finish leveling up my Bergamini. Like, the max rank of this build feels significantly stronger than the almost max rank. And so I could very much see them just kind of compressing the legendary skill and or the row 4 skill, which gives you the extra tankiness. They're just kind of like dialing back the high end of that just a little bit and compressing all the levels to be a little closer to that 14-3 tankiness, which is still good, but not quite as oppressive as the max build. And then, what am I saying? I should have like written this down. I feel like I'm like writing a thesis. Like back to this match, a poorly thought out, poorly organized thesis, and I'm probably gonna get an F on. No, but carriers have that same feel where it's like it feels fundamentally unfair if you're on the receiving end of the carrier. But having done my little foray into carriers, it's like there are real drawbacks and disadvantages to the carrier if you can take advantage of them, but it also doesn't always show up. And also, maybe let me like kind of flip back to these destroyers. A lot of these destroyers have a fundamental drawback. The Haida doesn't have amazing torpedoes, can struggle to deal with capital ships. The Vampire is slow and a little bit unwieldy, and its modules get knocked relatively easily. But if you don't get to do those things, like if you're the destroyer that I just go in and mulch, or if you are a capital ship like that Wisconsin that has AP loaded because he's engaged with a broadside Friedrich de Grosse, and I pop around the corner and you shoot me in the face, like, he might dev strike another destroyer, but like that, if I lose my engine and get sunk later in this match, that doesn't matter to that Wisconsin, and this build still feels unfair to the Wisconsin. I think that's part of the problem with these ships and with the carriers is like, when you're the ship that's getting bullied by them, by their strengths, you don't necessarily get to see the moments where the weaknesses pop up and come back to bite them. So I guess that's maybe the best way to sum up my comparisons, and it's similar to how I feel about some of a lot of the quote-unquote most toxic ships in the game. Kamikaze, Colbert, the zombie build destroyers, carriers in general as a whole, but like specifically the ones that really hated. Chokolov is a prime example. You know, like even at its prime, it was pretty ridiculous, but it also had really severe drawbacks. If you are the ship, if you're the ship that's getting alpha struck for half your health in the first minute of the match, it doesn't matter if it has dumpster tier plane regeneration and horrible torpedoes. Like that sucks. Um, so I think there's a an echo, a mirror, a similarity here. I like this build. It's a lot of fun. I love being able to kind of take this, aggressive destroyer contesting position with the ships and then continue fighting for the rest of the battle. But I think it's I think it's valid that Wargaming doesn't want to have an instance show up where like everyone's playing the same destroyer, or one class, one type of destroyer is very specifically so much better than any others. So I'm sure they're watching this. I certainly don't have any, on average aggregate data at this. I have certainly been enjoying and succeeding very well with it. I think this match will be the fourth Kraken I've gotten in a Commonwealth destroyer this week, and it's not like I've played hundreds of games. I've played a little bit, but like they're pretty strong, guys. Yeah, and then just I guess to the people that are defending them, like on one hand, yeah, I hear you. I don't think they're just like I said, they have weaknesses. There are things you can do to get around them. I played a match in the Vampire where it was an Henri. Yeah, reload boost Henri at 6 kilometers. Guess what? He wins. So, like it does happen, and again, you're making you're making trade-offs for the build. If you're going the full tank build, you have really bad, really or I guess more than average, higher than average concealment if you get spotted out. If you're not running the quick fix skill for the concealment, then you lose your engine, even though it is resilient. Like, because you're running a tank build, if you're taking damage, you can still lose your engine. So, yeah, there's drawbacks and whatever, but I don't know. I just feel like a lot of times both sides are kind of talking past each other. The one side saying that it's overpowered and broken, and the other side saying it's no problem. It's like, it's got weaknesses. I think it's overtuned. Like, I think I'm getting away with stuff that feels outside of what the game is really designed to handle. Sometimes. And I don't think they're particularly busted against coordinated assaults and whatever. I'm like begging the Shimakaze, please let me get the Kraken. I earned it, sort of. I think I pick up the Arsonist on this Musashi. I got at least a double fire on him earlier, so I definitely did a lot of damage to this guy. So, but hey, the Musashi's coming to me, just what I wanted. So we get this. We do pick up the Kraken. He whacks me, and again, like in most other destroyers, I'm pretty sure I'm dead there. Not to mention that I've already had that happen before. So I don't know. I love these ships. I'm having a good week with them. We'll see how it goes. I hope they don't gut it. It is a fun playstyle. I will sorely miss it if it totally disappears, but I could definitely see it getting some attention.